Welcome to Lights Camera Barstool. Today we have a review of Beetlejuice, the long-awaited sequel. I think we'll probably touch on Rebel Ridge.
Don't say it again.
I didn't say it a third time.
All right.
Can I say Rebel Ridge, until we'll get a second one?
Aaron Pierre will show up and just stare at you with those icy blue eyes.
Those icy eyes, just sitting there like, nah. Oh, what a fucking that line hit. I was talking to Owen about this. That line hit really hard in the trailer. Hit even better during the movie.
I was expecting to not to hit because that Netflix has posted that clip 100,000 times at this point.
Yep.
So I was like, no way, that's gonna hit when it gets to. Oh yeah, still ripped.
Yep, still ripped. So we'll talk a little about that, but before that, we have a bunch of news to get to, starting with, I think the big one, but you know what's weird about this? This should be huge news, but it felt so like underwhelming, and maybe it's just because of the time it dropped, but Tom Holland is officially returning for the fourth Spider-Man movie. It's going to be directed by Destin Daniel Cretton instead of being directed by John Watts.
Amen.
Yeah. Cretton, I think, is a pretty fucking good director. John Watts, I think, has done good in all three for the most part, especially in the first two, I would say. But Cretton, I think, was fantastic, especially in Shang-Chi, which I think kind of not flew under the radar, but didn't get the respect it deserved. So good. I mean, Tom Holland is starting to push 30, so I think we...
It didn't seem as dire until I saw that tweet on the timeline yesterday. The one that's just, you're pushing 30, you have no roles other than Spider-Man. I was like, oh, damn.
It's kind of true. Like,
his career really is Marvel. He has Cherry. And Marvel.
He has the Broadway shit, which people seem to think really, really highly of. I'll give him that for sure.
Yes. I'm excited for this. I think this was the right move. John Watts, serviceable. Like, that's really all you can say about him as a director so far. He's just very serviceable.
I like Homecoming, and I liked...
Yeah, I like them, but it's Spider-Man. It's hard to really fuck him up, and I think that's the best credit I can give to John Watts is he never missed a step. Like, for how much I really have kind of soured on No Way Home, it was still like a cinematic event and delivered.
No Way Home, I think, was the most serviceable of them all. I think the previous two were better because I felt they captured more like the Spider-Man essence than Amazing Spider-Man did. Like, those movies to me are just...
See, I like the first Amazing Spider-Man.
Those two, both to me, are just kind of in the void. And like these, I think the Homecoming and No Way, but also Amazing Spider-Man like wasn't connected to anything, and like there's less weight to it. So I don't know. Maybe that's unfair to compare the two in that way. But yeah, I don't know. I guess good for Spider-Man. It felt.
And Shang-Chi was awesome. Like you just said, it gets lost. I think the ending really soured people on it, but the first two acts are as strong as anything they've done post Endgame. Like anything.
Mm-hmm. Super creative fight sequences. I would say, especially in the first, when you had like non-magical fights, like it looked really good. Like I'm not going to say practical because it's CGI assisted and all that shit too. But like those fight scenes where it's not like magic involved, like they looked fantastic. Even the CGI ones looked good for what they were.
Yeah, the bus one was great.
And bus one was
like
sick.
Entirely CGI.
Yeah, that one looked great. And then like the ending sequence, I'd agree. Like, but the ring fighting, I just don't know if they could. That's a tough one to figure out. Like, I don't know how the fuck you're supposed to fight with like magical flying rings. So.
It's the anime problem. It's bringing like action anime into live action. Which really is almost what they were doing there, but it just doesn't look right. I don't know. Yeah. All the stakes go out the window when you got like magic punches,
dragons, and flying rings and all that. But I still do like Shang-Chi a lot. I actually rewatched it. I want to say like a few months ago, and man, fucking still good.
I love that the sequence in like where do they go? It's like Myanmar or something like that.
They go to like that fake city that is like the bad city from Falcon.
I love that the whole time they're there. That everything there is awesome.
Yeah, that was cool. Well, what's his name? Ronnie Chang shows up and like leads them around. Yeah, that was good.
I love Ronnie Chang has just been typecasted into like the Chinese party boy.
Yeah, that was funny. We had the first trailer for the franchise. Series directed or created by Sam Mendes and Armando Iannucci. Iannucci, obviously, behind Veep.
Death of Stalin, baby.
Death of Stalin. Incredible, great writer. And Sam Mendes, obviously one of the great filmmakers of the last like 30 years. It depicts the issues faced by a film crew in production of a superhero film. Himesh Patel, Lali Adefope, Aya Cash, Billy Magnuson, Daniel Bruhl, coming to HBO October 6th. The series looks... I mean, it's tough to get a kind of a good feel of what it's going to be about based on this trailer anyway. But like you combine those two names to me, Iannucci and Sam Mendes, and I'm just like, yes, absolutely. No matter what the project would be, it could be about anything, and I'd be like, yes, give this to me, inject it. You know what I mean? I'm so about that.
Yeah, it's HBO's The Bubble.
Don't say that. Just don't say that.
Listen, The Bubble is not a terror. Was like came out at the exact wrong time. Like no one wanted to hear about COVID productions at that point. But the idea of like a movie about a failed movie production is very interesting to anybody who consumes this shit, especially a superhero movie, which is like, I think that would appeal to the widest or have the widest net in terms of viewership. Like everyone kind of wants to lampoon and make fun of like these stupid headlines we get all the time. Like the whole production, the pipeline of superhero movies right now is just so lampoonable. So to see Mendes and Iannucci going at it, I love that. Which, by the way, I watched Children of Men first time last week.
Oh, you never saw it before?
Mm-mm.
Oh, how good. That's one of my favorite all-timers.
Yeah, no, that was immediately like, yep, that's going in the all-time faves list.
Yep. How great was the oneer towards the end of it?
I mean, which one?
the one going up into the building.
Yeah, no, incredible. Like that is, I don't know, it's not obviously based on a video game, but like if you want to bring video game action into a movie format, like that's the way I've always imagined it should look. And they like perfectly did it.
Charlie Hunnam, white guy dreads. Great.
Oh, they're great. I love the white people dreads.
Yeah.
Loved them.
A couple other guys in that. I mean, you watch in Rings of Power. Do you know the guy that is like the guy that like is like the corrupt officer, I think? In that, basically, you know, the guy that like he's got the beret on, he like leads them around and like through like the facility or whatever. I'm pretty sure that is King Durin in Rings of Power, among many other things.
Ooh,
I'm fairly sure about that.
There was another big name in there too that
Julianne Moore,
obviously, and then
there was a couple
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah.
Yes,
yep.
Obviously, hippie Michael Caine was great too.
Yeah, hippie Michael Caine is one of the best characters ever.
That's awesome.
Pull my finger. Like, just such a great sequence.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's when I think Owen's favorite scenes too. Yeah.
Great movie. If you've never seen it, don't be an idiot like me and wait, forever to just get around to it. Do it. Yeah. It really does live up to the hype.
I can't come into work today, man. Baby Diego. It starts so. Oh, Danny Huston in that too. And
yes.
His son, if I remember correctly, is that pervert guy from Gossip Girl. What's his name? Who's the guy that got in deep shit?
Yes.
Westwick?
Ed Westwick.
Yeah.
Yes. He's sitting there like he's like an iPad kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's the franchise. Super excited for that. Happy Gilmore 2 is officially in production. We just got like a little kind of like picture of the Bruins jersey and all that. This is one of those ones where like if most other late stage sequels or late stage reboots, I'm just kind of like, and like you can kind of apply the same logic to Beetlejuice, but with like Adam Sandler and his $1 trillion deal with Netflix to make movies with his friends, I'm just kind of like, sure, yeah, why not? If you want to do it late, why not? Great. If I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of the returning cast, a lot of his boys, and then probably going to include a lot of like little cameos from famous golfers that are into this sort of shit. There's going to be a lot of that. I wouldn't be surprised to see Fat Face Frankie in here somewhere rolling around. Yeah,
I know the cameos are going to be Anchorman 2 levels of like, what the fuck are we doing here? This is like, you just take it with a grain of salt. I mean, if this was releasing in theaters, I'd think like this is going to be a disaster. But straight to streaming, straight to Netflix, like it's not a real movie. It's not going to be a real movie.
Mm-hmm.
The first one barely is a real movie. I love it, but it's an SNL skit like stretched out into 90 minutes, which sometimes that's exactly what you want.
Yep.
I hope this is funny. I mean, Sandler's track record recently. Do you have it pulled up? It's fucking outside of like Uncut Gems. It's
we liked Hubie Halloween. We liked Hustle. We liked what was the other one? He had another what was the other? Murder Mystery. Both of those were fine.
They're fine, but I mean, like, do they even crack his top 10?
Probably not. No, but yeah. I wouldn't say that. Call that a skid to have movies not in your top 10 when you've made like 1 trillion movies. You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know. I feel like I've liked his recent work more than I've liked the work of his last 5 years way more than the work of like his last 10 before that.
Yeah, that's fair. When he's doing Pixels and Twin movie,
Spaceman was not good to me. I don't know. It wasn't for me. You were so not invited to my bar mitzvah. Yeah, very good. Although I wouldn't know.
I think that's another one where it's like barely a movie, but like straight to streaming does exactly what it's intended to do.
Hustle, Hubie Halloween, Nature Planet. I don't remember. Goldman v. Silverman. Don't remember that. Hotel Transylvania's have always been crushing. Kevin Can Wait. I forgot about that. What the fuck happened to that show? Didn't Kevin James have a wife in that, and then they replaced the wife, just brought Leah Remini back? Isn't that what happened in that show?
I have no idea.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of the other ones are kind of not great. But again, the last like 5-ish years, I would say better than the 5 before that, at the very least. But yeah, good for him. Next up, we have the first trailer for Wolfman from Lee Wannell. Is that how you pronounce? I've always pronounced it Lee Wannell. I feel like it's wrong. Just looking at how it's.
Yeah, it's got you kind of want to hit it with the what.
Yeah, there's like 15 letters in this, but it's just Lee Wannell. He obviously directed Invisible Man, which we really liked, and an Upgrade, which I liked a lot. Upgrade, very underappreciated movie. The Wolfman will star Chris Abbott and Julia Gardner. A San Francisco husband and father named Blake inherits a childhood home in the remote Oregon wilderness following the mysterious disappearance and presumed death of his estranged father. With his marriage to his high-powered workaholic wife Charlotte suffering, he convinces her to visit the property with his young daughter Ginger for a peaceful retreat. At night, during the full moon, the family is attacked by a mysterious but deadly werewolf and take refuge inside the farmhouse, where Blake begins to undergo a monstrous transformation, which soon jeopardizes the safety of his wife and daughter. Christopher Abbott's going to become the Wolfman. We love Chris Abbott. We've been
he's already the Wolfman. You see that fucking chest?
Yeah, he's a hairy boy. We're big Chris Abbott guys, and I don't know what the deal is here with this like pseudo dark universe they got going on here, but I'm down for it. Sure, Chris Abbott, anything he wants to do, he wants to combine with Lee Abbott and do Lee Wannell and do another movie. I'm very down for that, especially if it's anything like Upgrade, which is kind of, I feel like if you scale it down a little bit, it kind of is.
Yeah, no, I mean, it really does suck the dark universe kind of played out the way it did. And by played out the way it did, I mean, it was shitty and
cratered
duty and no one wanted it. Because the idea of like bringing back these like golden age, like monster movies is really interesting. And it is like a nice change of pace between the horror, like big horror franchises going now. They're like Blumhouse, like very, I guess, teen oriented. And then just like the big franchise stuff outside of that. I think it would be like nice if we got a good one of these and they started actually turning them in. Like Invisible Man was good. I think some people really love it. I wouldn't go that far. Wolfman, that's good. I mean, take another fucking stab at The Mummy. Take another stab at like Bride of Frankenstein. Do this stuff, like, because it is. I would like to see it. I would like to see it.
Swamp Thing, all that. Yeah, we can get there eventually. But yeah, it's just a quick teaser. They did that weird promo thing with the fake Wolfman. That was
fucking horrifying.
Don't know what the deal was or what the thought process was.
Not even horrifying. It was like they if you didn't see this video online, they like broke or I guess they did the reveal of the Wolfman, like what he was going to look like, but they did it with like a costume that you'd buy at like a Halloween store. It was
kind of like
very weird.
Do you remember that weird ass Willy Wonka display thing they did a while back?
The one that got roasted. Viral?
Yeah. Kind of reminded me of that, where it's like, what is this supposed to be? Is this supposed to be what your quality production thing? Like, what? I don't get what's happening here.
He looked like he was going to a furry convention.
Yeah, it was not. I don't think that should have
actually
been.
That's mean to the furry people because they actually take.
They put a lot of effort into it.
They put a lot more effort than that. I'll give them that much.
Ocean's 14 is officially in the works, or not officially, but they said it's in the works with the main cast returning rather. No Soderbergh, but Ed Berger, who directed All Quiet on the Western Front, is apparently circling.
And his next movie is apparently amazing.
Yeah,
everyone's saying it's like Ray Fiennes' like best performance of
Conclave.
His career. Yeah,
I'm interested in that too. Especially maybe it's because I'm a big young pope. What ever happened to him, man?
Content. I'm not even Catholic.
Also, the Two Popes was a very good movie. That also, I think it got award recognition, but like that was a very good movie. Not a lot of people saw.
The one with Price and
Hopkins.
Yeah, that was good. It was a little long and like definitely boring and dry, but two like heavyweights just going at it for 2 hours.
Great conversations, especially because that came out like right after or pretty soon after Price's performance as like the High Sparrow in Game of Thrones. It was kind of like a similar-ish role. But yeah, this is. I think I saw you tweet it, and I'm completely agree with you. The prequel one with Gosling and Margot Robbie in like this place in the 60s, like that one, I think is I agree with you, significantly more interesting to me than this would be. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't hate the idea of like bringing back the old gang. But there is something to like heist movies, especially like this Ocean's franchise, where it's like it's sleek and sexy. I want to see, younger people do it. Like, just to be honest, I want to see like young, sleek, sexy people running around Europe or running around Vegas. Maybe not like, I don't want to say George and Brad look bad. They're as good looking as ever, but they're older. I mean, I don't know if the Oceans franchise is right for them. I'm interested in Wolves, but the Oceans franchise feels like it needs to go in a different direction. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if doing 14 is the right move. I do think getting a different director is an interesting move that makes me a little bit more interested because I've seen Soderbergh's made 5 of these now. If you count Logan Lucky, I don't know if I need to see another one.
Logan Lucky was great though. That was like the best one he had done since the original.
Yeah. I just don't know if I need to, like feels like I've seen this before. And I have.
To counterpoint though, I would say that I don't care as long as they're on the level of Logan Lucky or Ocean's 11. I'll watch a trillion of them, and I would never complain again. I'd rather him do a million more of those than any even sniff doing that fucking stupid
Kimmy
Cruise movie again or whatever.
Oh yeah,
with Meryl Streep or Kimmy for that matter. Like,
what about No Sudden Move?
It's what I'm saying. Like, just stick to.
He's stuck making 6 out of 10 movies right now, but he'll get out of the rut.
Well, since Logan Lucky. By the way, look, that scene has still been popping up again because of George R. R. Martin.
It's so funny. It's so funny that's how I think that clip alone has brought more viewers to Logan Lucky than anything else. Because just once a year, it'll be like, or like probably more than once a year. Anytime George R. R. Martin starts like getting a little too loud, people just post that clip. Be like, this was actually released. This was filmed 10 years ago.
Dude, I posted that in like 2020. And I was like, damn, 3 years since this clip came out. Still no book. That was 4 years ago. Like, that's crazy.
I'd argue more people have discovered Dwight Yoakam's music because of that clip than anything.
Also
any
true.
Radio station.
It's fucking crazy. But yeah, I'm with you. But the good thing with the Oceans thing, as far as like the older cast, is like these are never hyper physical movies. Like you know what I mean? Like they weren't like fighting people or anything. That's all conversations and let's break down how this worked. Like that sort of scenes, which I like. Also, Wolves. Saw some of the early things on it. Seem to like it.
I haven't seen any early reviews on that one yet. That's good. Because I was getting a little worried about it when they decided to pull its theatrical run.
Yeah.
It gets 1 week in theaters now, and I think that's it. I think it goes direct to Apple TV. That had me a little concerned. That was a little concerning.
Yeah.
I was like, you're not trusting Brad Pitt and George Clooney to make a box office hit. What are we doing? But apparently, which I found out, I did find this out this past weekend. They agreed to do that, Brad Pitt and George Clooney, on the basis that Wolves 2 would happen. So a sequel has been greenlit already. So basically, they're just like, okay, we'll take another payday immediately.
All right. I wonder, well, the payday is actually probably good since it's Apple, right? So
yeah, and Apple just...
They spend money on anything but marketing. Like anything but marketing their good shows, they will spend money on.
Which is wild because it's like Apple used to be the marketing. They're the marketing kings.
Literally, yeah. They just put nothing in, no resources. They're like the most wealthy fucking company in the world that isn't selling like bombs, and like they just refuse to just fucking market their stuff that's getting great reviews. It's crazy. But yeah, Ocean's 14. Now Joker 2 is getting kind of torched. So it's sitting at like a 60 on Rotten Tomatoes. To me, when I read some of these reviews, they read to me kind of like what we talked about when Joker 1 originally came out. Like, I think a lot of the overwhelming early support of Joker was like, oh my God, it's the best movie, blah, blah, blah. And like, we were kind of tempered. We were like, this is an okay movie with a very, very good singular performance. And that comes from Joaquin Phoenix. And a lot of these reviews seem like it's just kind of regressing to that mean where all these people are kind of like, okay, yeah, the performances are still really good. It's just the movie around it is not matched that at all. And I think that's kind of like what, at least from what I'm seeing out of these reviews, it's kind of that same thing. Hey, Gaga and Phoenix are really good. Everything else around it is kind of whatever.
Yeah, I think, well, the first one didn't do well at Venice either. To be fair, I think it came out at like a 72% out of that festival. And it might just be something to where Todd Phillips is so fucking derivative.
True.
Of like great filmmakers that these people who go to these festivals love, that I think he grates them the wrong way, and the way that he pays homage to those films. But yeah, no, these are very competently made. I think Todd Phillips, like, he may not be the most original, but these are very competently made. The first one at least was well made, but it's carried by the Joaquin performance for sure. Like that's really what you're there to see Joaquin.
For sure.
I'm interested in Lady Gaga. People are saying she's great and that the musical numbers are the highlight. I also think it's strange that they have completely turned their marketing campaign the other direction and will not talk about the fact that it's a musical
It's
anymore.
fucking weird, man. Like, why?
It's so strange. Just if you're gonna do it, you got to do it. Like, you got to lean all the way in.
I would respect the commit. I'm with you on that versus whatever the hell they're doing right now.
It'd be like, this is a weird, fucked up musical with the Joker and Harley Quinn. Like, really lean hard into that. Don't be like, oh, well, they're singing and dancing, and it moves the plot forward, but I wouldn't necessarily call it that's the definition of a musical.
You're defining it as what it is. It's just stupid. And then last little bit of news: R.I.P. James Earl Jones, one of the great, I would say, inarguably the most iconic voice in cinema. And like we were talking about in our chat before, he might be like, if not the singular most recognizable voice in history, like one of the top 5, like it's or top 3. Like he's a great actor on top of all that. EGOT winner, fantastic theater actor. There's all these clips now that are coming out in Twitter and YouTube and all that stuff too. Great theater actor, great, obviously great, regular actor like on movies and TV and stuff too. Sandlot, what do you call it? Even like
he was wasn't he in Doctor Strangelove?
Yes, this is his first role.
Yes, okay. Yeah, no, I remember first time I watched it, I was like, is that James Earl Jones?
Yeah. And what do you call it? Just a big, giant, like his filmography is huge. Even like someone had brought up like Reindeer Games. Like he's in like all these movies, like he'll just pop up and like he gives like always a very, very good performance. Like I just had started Conan the Barbarian like 2 days ago. Like I just started rewatching it, and every single time that opening sequence with Thulsa Doom where he like stares down Arnie's mom before like just chopping her head off, crazy good sequence. He was such a good actor. So
yeah, I think you said it in your blog. Just one of those people that he brought the magic out of the movie. Truly, like you could feel it, and that's probably why. He was never a leading man, but he almost just would stop the fucking show every time he showed up in a movie. His voice is just so iconic. There's just such a temperament to him. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude, his scene with Smalls in Sandlot, like that's one of, I think, the best scene in the movie is just him just reassuring Smalls and be like, "I'll trade you." Like, yeah, just what a great
huge
voice.
Loss.
Yeah, massive
lived
loss.
A great life,
dude. I didn't realize
93. That's
he was a fucking second, like a first lieutenant in the Army Rangers too. This dude lives a full ass life. It's crazy. Damn. Yeah, and his dad was also a big actor as well. Yeah, crazy. R.I.P. to James Earl Jones. So now Beetlejuice.
Also, I want to give an R.I.P. to the Bengals season.
That was
one game. I'm declaring it donezo.
Yeah, that was not good.
I also started Herbert, and he fucked me. So
you shouldn't have started Herbert.
I had to pick someone up, and I was like, he's good.
He is good. They're just not going to pass the ball a lot.
That's my problem. I don't dive into the stats. I just go, he's a good player.
That boy, nice.
I'm like, projections. Who needs these projections? Like point. I want a good player.
In fairness, I picked the Bengals in basically every survivor pool I'm in. And I was like, that's the most obvious pick in the world. Them versus first time head coach.
No. Week 1, we stink. We lose every week 1.
That was truly a depressing performance to watch. And then,
at least we're not paying like $250 million to Deshaun Watson.
To a pervert, yeah. To a fucking pervert loser.
That's the only silver line. That's like what is keeping me going right now.
Yeah.
Like, at least we're not doing in that situation.
Sports Track every now and then will show up like the other day they tweeted like, because someone was like, to all the Browns fans are saying, why don't we just cut him? Why don't we just cut him? This is your dead cap, like what you would incur. Yep. And it's like, literally you cannot get rid of him.
Locked for 4 yeyears.
Yeah, like you'd have to just bench him and pay him like however much. Like I think they would owe him like $100 million, and it would all be dead cap if they didn't have him on the roster. They just need him to be an employee. If
he wasn't such a like piece of shit and probably allegedly bad guy. Piece of shit, allegedly bad guy. His situation, I wouldn't lie, it was be kind of cool. Like, oh, I can just suck. You guys are gonna have to pay me $250 million.
Exactly. If this was like fucking like Gardner Minshew or something, or Derek Carr, I'd be like, oh, fucking good for them. Like, well, why not?
He got paid. Like, sweet. That's awesome. Get the Browns to throw out another bad contract.
Dude, if this is like Jameis Winston, for example, if this is Jameis Winston had this contract, everyone would be over the moon for him. They'd be like, this is great. Fuck yeah. Jameis Winston swindled them. But because this guy's such a alleged scumbag, it just makes it not fun.
Yeah.
There has to be like a morality cause or something to get because like, I don't hate the Browns at all. So like, I don't want them to get out of this somehow because it's not fun.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's fun. It's a little fun for me.
It's a little fun for a divisional rival. I'm assuming a little more fun, but I'm like, how do they not? There's no contract clause where it's like, hey, if you're the worst human alive, can't we cut you like and not incur penalties? It's or at least through the NFL. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, Beetlejuice. If you say it a third time, Deshaun Watson shows up butt naked on a bed demanding a massage. But Beetlejuice. After a family tragedy, 3 generations of the Dees family return home to Winter River. Every single time I want to say Wind River. Every time. Still haunted by Beetlejuice, Lydia's life is turned upside down when her teenage daughter Astrid accidentally opens the portal to the afterlife. Winona, Keaton, and O'Hara all back. Jenna Ortega, Justin Theroux, and Willem Dafoe, and Monica Bellucci all added to the cast. This is one where we just talked about it before with like Happy Gilmore 2 and all that stuff. When you have like a late stage sequel, there's definitely a bit of like wariness to it. And as far as, especially with like a cash grab aspect of it and all that, I think that this movie to me is exactly what anyone should want to be like the passing grade of a late stage reboot. Like
I like that take. Like the Mendoza line for these late stage sequels.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it has some heart to it. It hits all the beats of the original. It has a little bit of its own stuff. The returning cast and the new cast both mesh well, and they both do their jobs perfectly. I think is basically, again, just the passing grade, exactly what you want. There's not a lot about this movie where I could be like, wow, that sucked. Wow, that was bad to the original. Wow, that was this. There's not a lot where I can be like, wow, this did this one thing exceptional. This did this one thing fantastic. It's just everything is basically exactly what you would want. And I think that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah, no, I love that take, that this is just kind of like, you really can't be let down. I can't imagine there's Beetlejuice fans out there that are like massively upset. And if you are, I think you're massively overreacting. Like, there's problems with this movie, sure. There's problems with the original. The biggest thing is that this is very respectful of the original. I think Tim Burton coming back to do it makes a big difference. A lot of these late stage sequels, like they get directed by different people. Cast changes tremendously. Didn't have those issues here going in. And so this is very respectful of the original, has that same heart to it. Michael Keaton, a big part of that. Mm-hmm. If you want to talk about, he did not miss a fucking beat. He was incredible.
40 years later, still had like the exact roll down.
He looks exactly, and because of the face paint, he looks exactly the same. It was crazy. But yeah, no, this has issues, but like I had a great time. And I was never like, self-referential, never like overbearing in that respect. Yeah, no, this is good. I think I can recommend this. The biggest plus I can give this, I can recommend this to anyone. Anyone.
I totally agree. Like whether it's like a family looking for something, even like, well, I wouldn't say like to bring a baby to this or something, like, but like, you know, if you're looking for like a family-ish movie, I would say this is fine for that. Looking for a date movie, good for that. If you're just looking for like a decent movie in the theater that isn't like, I don't know, fucking Deadpool and Wolverine or whatever, like go watch this. That is, I think, a great sign for it as well. And I would agree with you. It's respectful to the original. And they do a lot of, I think a lot of like the effects, which is, again, this is like 40 years ago when the original came out. They managed to replicate a lot of those original effects, whether it's like,
the sets were awesome.
Yeah, the sets look good. A lot of like some of the stop motion stuff I think look good. I think the way that they did what was his name? Not Jim Jeffries.
Very much canceled. I can't remember what his name is.
Yeah, but they did a good job. His death sequence, I think the way that they showed that, because that wasn't stop motion. What the fuck was that? I don't know.
Claymation?
I guess, but like it looked. I don't know. I think that looked really good. And a lot of the stuff where it's just like, hey, we're going back to this, like the sand, like the worms and shit. Like you're going back to all that. It looks still very good. It looks similar enough to the original, but also a little bit of an upgrade. So pretty much, I would say Beetlejuice is again, just the perfect level of what you want.
So if you were to fix this and make it, not just a passing grade, but something that kind of ascends or even is better than the original, maybe like Maverick. Yeah. Like what do you do to this movie? Because I think there is that movie in here. Like I think there's a lot of meat on this bone that if you cut it off and tighten this thing up a little bit, it's right on par with the original.
Yeah, but and that's the thing. We talked about this too. Neither of us are like massive fans of the original or anything like that. But also, I'll note I did watch the original for the first time since I was probably a kid, and I would say that I respected a lot of it more than I did when I was a kid. Because I was never a huge like, oh my god, Beetlejuice, it's the best movie, blah 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 blah. Like It was just kind of like, yeah, Beetlejuice. But I watched it and liked it a little bit more as an adult.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that one we talked about it, 80 minutes. I think it's like 82 minutes long.
Yeah.
This one is, I mean, if you want to talk about Monica Bellucci.
Yeah,
Tim Burton's current love interest, Monica Bellucci. Respect to him for just throwing her in there and just being like, I'm going to write a bunch of sequences where she gets to look really hot.
Yeah.
That plot line there was no bearing on the story at all.
Literally nothing. It meant nothing to this movie. It was the most like, you know what it reminded me of? Like, you ever see that meme of the guy, like the guys pushing the truck and the one guy up on the truck bed pushing? You know what I mean? And like, that was her in this movie, like as far as pushing the plot along, was meaningless. I would say I would agree with you on that. Tightening up the time. And I think tightening up the script, like it could have been funnier for sure. There was like some good lines that were very similar to that sort of humor from the 80s, but like, I don't know.
The Italian sequence is very funny.
Yeah.
The Italian sequence, the horror sequence with Monica Bellucci. But still, yeah, just so far out of the way to get that in there. And even the Justin Theroux story, I don't really know what the fuck they were thinking there.
I didn't mind it because Theroux, I think, was a good fit for this universe or whatever. Because like he had that weird kind of undertakey look to him, you know what I mean, or scummy look to him, which is good. If I were to pick one, it would be.
He looked like Caesar Flickerman.
Yeah, true. If I were to pick one, I would actually pick what was the name of the ghost kid that Astrid was into?
Yeah,
I would give it to
Aegon.
him. Yeah, I would dump him if I was going to dump one of them.
Yeah, no, that too could have gone. Yeah, pick one of those two. Get rid of one of them.
Or Bellucci. There's multiple characters here.
Definitely. I think you just got to get rid of. But I will give credit. Her sequences were fun. Like they were funny, but they were just so like out of the way and just did not matter at all.
Honestly, in like, no disrespect to Willem Dafoe, like even his.
I forgot
his character was funny, but
that was a funny bit.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I was thinking about it, I'm like, what else would I cut? But he was good.
He was good, but like again, had no bearing on this. Like there's like these. It almost feels like he had like 3 different scripts going at once at different times. And then he was just like, when he got to it, he's like, well, I like things from all of these. I'm just going to put them all together. The original story doesn't make much sense either, but this one really got convoluted at points.
Mm-hmm. But again, I think as far as what the fuck, as far as they're going into, again, later reboot, this is the baseline. It was fun for people who were fans of the original, people who liked it as kids, whatever. And I think it also is good enough to appeal to a newer audience, which is fine. Don't make another one. And I think that Tim Burton has explicitly said, I'm not making another one.
Yeah, no, here. Let's make a graphic. Let's make a Mendoza line graphic with Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Right now. So obviously Maverick above the Mendoza line.
Maverick's like there. That's like the top you want. That's like the I can't think of a better late stage reboot.
What other late stage reboots do we have?
Let's see.
Would Force Awakens count there?
I don't know, because that was like already always kind of planned.
Let's do a late stage sequel. Twister.
Twister would be, I would say, just above. I would say above the Mendoza line.
Yeah, I think it's above.
So like Ghostbusters, female Ghostbusters would be below.
Very far below.
Total Recall would be very far below. Planet of the Apes 2001, another Tim Burton movie, very low, very far below. The Crow, very far below.
These are reboots. Let's think sequels.
Okay, late stage sequel. Late stage sequels.
I'm pulling it up too.
Late sequel movies that are actually Blade Runner 2049.
Way
above. Yeah.
Tron. I'd say
pretty far above. Yeah.
Yes.
What?
Fury Road, way above.
Fury Road, way above.
Independence Day Resurgence, way below.
Way below. So far below.
Way below. Space Jam: A New Legacy, below.
What about Creed? Creed, I would put high up.
Creed, high up for sure.
All 3 of them, honestly.
Dumb and Dumber 2. so far below.
And
although they did give us that, I don't know if you remember when Dave and Big Cat had to do the college tour for the fall, and they had to go to all these different campuses dressed as Dumb and Dumber.
Yep.
Some of the funniest old barstool lore you'll ever see. Them in those orange and blue suits.
Oh, Blues Brothers 2000 floor.
Oh yeah.
Clerks 2, I'll put above. I like Clerks 2 a lot, but not everyone. That's not everyone's cup of tea.
Wall Street below.
Wall Street 2 is so far below.
He watched it last week. I don't know why anyone would ever watch that again.
Great Donald Trump literally deleted scene.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no, we can I'll put this graphic together. This would be a good one.
Jurassic World. I would put that. I think Jurassic World is a Mendoza line movie.
The first one?
Yeah, the very first one. I'll put that right at the Mendoza line.
I think that's a little bit above. I'll be honest. The first one I do think is a little bit above.
Especially because Jurassic World 2 and 3 were not fantastic by any means.
Those are below.
Yeah, those are below. Both. But those aren't. Yeah.
But they don't really, not necessarily count. But I think that first one is a little bit above.
Zoolander 2, below.
Oh my God.
It's Finding Dory, I think, is probably above. But that wasn't like a late sequel. That was like probably what, like
15 years,
maybe a little bit less. Yeah.
The 30-year gaps that's crazy. 40 years here.
Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage, below. Super Troopers 2, below. Incredibles 2, I'd put above probably Mendoza line, but not by a ton.
Yeah.
Because now, like, I feel like in my brain, I'm almost like I'm almost messing it up where I'm doing like, is this movie better than the original? Which is not the idea here. It's just you want it to be
respectful of the original and standing on its own as a good movie.
Bad Boys for Life, above the Mendoza line.
For Life?
I would put both above. I mean, For Life was still good. They
fucked up the titling so bad on this one.
Yeah, that's...
God damn it. Because For Life is the third. I would go slightly above, I guess.
Where do you put Scream?
Scream, the first one... that one might be below. I love Mikey Madison, Jack Quaid, but that one I think was below.
Yeah, that was. Oh man, dude, Honora,
dude,
or whatever, getting a lot of hype.
I follow from the people I follow on Letterboxd that get the early access. There hasn't been a single person give it less than 5 stars. People are saying this is like one of the best we've had in like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pumped for it.
Me too. But yeah, anyway, that's Beetlejuice. We both liked it a lot. We both liked it.
What's your before we close this out? What's your Tim Burton Mount Rushmore? He might be back. He's had 2 successes in a row.
Let's see. I'll
with
go
Wednesday, which I don't think either of us really love, but people like it. And now this. He's
one of those guys that is just the ultimate cult following guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like people like either don't care for him or tattooing them to their ass. You know what I mean? Like there's not a lot of like in between for Tim Burton fandom. Okay, so for mine, it would be Ed Wood, obviously, up there.
Yep.
Beetlejuice. Like this, I'm just going off my top 5 off the website. Ed Wood, Beetlejuice, Big Fish, Corpse Bride, Sweeney Todd. And then Batman is like right there. But I would say Batman had a Sweeney Todd.
I think Batman put on the... I think Batman goes on that.
I like
his Mount Rushmore. You like Sweeney Todd?
I like Sweeney Todd. I don't think it's a bad... I think it's a perfect Tim Burton movie. You know what I mean? Like, it is the most Tim Burton movie, other than maybe like Corpse Bride.
And does Nightmare Before Christmas? I know it's Tim Burton's Nightmare Before, but he didn't direct it.
Like Edward Scissorhands is below that. Frankie and Weenie below that. Batman Returns well below that. Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, Returns is the one that I would put on there.
You put Returns over Batman. Batman 89's got to be the...
No, I think Returns is better.
Sleepy Hollow.
I think Returns fucking rules.
Mars Attacks fucks. I got to give Mars Attacks its credit. But that's not one I would put like in the top 5 or whatever.
I would go, now that I'm thinking about it, Ed Wood.
Yeah.
I would go Batman Returns. I would go...
No Big Fish yet?
I'm surprised you're that low on Scissorhands.
I like Scissorhands.
It's good.
It's like just like that, but at least on our scoring system, Sweeney Todd, Batman, and Scissorhands are all within like a couple points.
I'll put Beetlejuice in there.
It's totally fair.
Then no, I think I would go Edward Scissorhands. I do.
I don't blame you. What was it? The clip of like Gary Oldman almost took that role of Edward Scissorhands, and he's like, he like read the script, like Burton sent him the script. He's like, I don't fucking get this one bit. I don't understand any of this. I'm not doing it. And then,
but he played a little person. No less than 3 years later.
But then, I think he said like when he saw the movie, he was like, "Oh, I saw the movie," and then I was like, "Oh, now I get it. This made perfect sense. I just couldn't visualize it whatsoever." But yeah, that's again Beetlejuice. I think, and then lastly, we can just finish off with some Rebel Ridge talk because we both liked Rebel Ridge a lot.
I'm more mild on it than you, but I respect the fuck out of it.
Yeah, no. And let's be clear. When I say I like it a lot, there's sort of like a scale of like relativity here. Like when you have like a Netflix movie, your expectations are
Six
floor.
Underground. I mean, like that's what I've come to expect.
Yeah, you expect everything to be on the floor, just giant, disgusting sheen on its sets of CGI, nasty, no heart, no soul, no effort, really. Like you don't expect anything out of it. So there's a very clear scale here. But for Rebel Ridge, I saw a lot of people talking positive about it. I watched it the day it came out, and I was very, very surprised by how good it was. Just like it was basically Walking Tall 2, but it was with Aaron Pierre, who had, and this was like a big story that came out after it. Apparently, like John Boyega had been originally cast in it, and then he just left the set and didn't come back one day. And like, they're just like, okay, Aaron Pierre, you're up. And Aaron Pierre, I think, was the perfect fit for this movie because he was badass, huge, physical. Him versus Don Johnson, Emery Cohen, great dynamic. And I think I tweeted as much, but I think the first act is like bang, banger as a first act, right into the action. Great conversations, fight sequence, tension. And then the second act is a pretty steep dip for me. Yeah. And then it goes right back up because the third act is like right up there, right next to the first act as being just incredible. And really, really liked it. For a Netflix movie, it's like one of the best ones I've seen them put out in a hot minute. And I would love to see more movies like this, where it's just, hey, satisfy the dumb guy part of your brain that wants to see like a Gerard Butler action movie, except like give it those scenes where even Netflix, they were smart enough to tweet this. They're like, scenes where a guy explains what he's going to do to you are so cool. And like, yes, that's true. And I loved it. I think they satisfied all those requirements for like a badass movie, and they then some.
Yeah, no, little lower on it than you and Jeff, but it's just like you said, kind of shocking to just see a well-made, straight to streaming like action movie. The bar is just like Instigators was considered a good one of these, right?
Yeah,
and Instigators is not well made. This was well made, and it's fun when you get to see a movie where you see a guy, and obviously he's had roles before, namely mid-sized sedan and old, the beach that turns you old. Mm-hmm. But you see these roles and you're like, oh yeah, no, this is like a star-making role for him. Like people are going to be talking about Aaron Pierre and fan casting him all over the place for the next year because he was just cast perfectly. It was just this strong, silent type. It was awesome. I saw people calling it non-lethal reacher, which I kind of like that. The things I think just like Beetlejuice is probably just like 30 minutes too long with one too many storylines. Tighten that second act up. I think we got something really great.
I think if you get rid of that county clerk shit in general, like with that whole girl storyline, like just 86 that, and I think this is way better. It was it just diluted the focus from what was really working.
Poor Anna Sophia Robb.
Yeah,
you can't catch her. What has she been doing outside of dying in Terabithia?
That accent was also, I think, a little.
Yeah,
that was a little cartoonish, was it not?
It took me about 40 minutes to figure out that they were in Louisiana.
Yeah, I was like, God dang it! What do you think we're doing around here? We're trying to do civil forfeiture. It's like, where are we supposed to be right now?
Yeah, no, that storyline was like could have done without it completely. Don Johnson, awesome. Yeah, Robbie Fox said it last night in our group text. He had just watched it too. So good at playing just a piece of shit. Just so good at it.
Great piece of shit cop specifically too. Like even if you go back in his other, he did Dragged Across Concrete. He was like the warden of the prison in Watchmen. He was like the chief of police. Like he just really good at this role. And obviously the director, I think, is, if you follow him on, or been following along on Twitter or Instagram, whatever, everyone has been like asking questions about it. He just answers all the questions. They're like, how'd you do this shot? And he just explains it bit for like shot for shot. Like, yeah, we use a crane here, Texas switch here, this, that, like. Been very cool. He had directed Green Room, which was awesome. He also did Hold the Dark, which I think was very interesting. Like it was, there was a couple scenes in Hold the Dark that there's a big like standoff scene, which I think is about as tense and cool as anything I've seen in like a crime movie before. But like the rest of the movie is just kind of like, I don't know, in between. But yeah, Green Room was incredible, and I really, really like this. I think if you cut this county clerk out of this and tighten up this second act, this would be one of my favorites of like top 5-ish of the year if you just really tighten up that second act, because it was that first and third act were incredible.
You know who else was great and I didn't expect it? Fucking Dale Denman.
Yeah,
Office Roy.
Yeah,
Office Roy was pretty good. And I watched Logan Lucky like 2 weeks ago. He's like he's kind of a nice little character actor.
Yeah.
Which I've never thought of him that way because he's just Roy.
Benghazi Roy, don't forget.
Oh yes, forgot about that too.
Yeah. He also Emery Cohen, I thought it was really good. He's really carving out a good little
Paul Walter Hauser better watch his ass.
Did you see Paul Walter Hauser quote tweeted that?
Yeah.
That was funny. He's like, he beat me out for this. He beat me out for bike riders and this, but I've beaten him out for other things or something like that. But he's good. He was also in and I was talking to somebody else about this, Shot Caller. Emery Cohen I think was pretty good in that. And I don't know if people have watched Shot Caller.
I haven't seen it.
That is if you like crime movies, Shot Caller is the movie to watch. It's Nikolai Coster-Waldau, Holt McCallany, John Bernthal.
Fucking there's some dudes.
Yeah. What's his name? Shoot. A lot of like really good prison actors, like actors that are always in prison movies. The whole movie takes place in prison. A couple other really good guys too. Shoot, I'm forgetting some of the names. But yeah, very, very good movie. More people should watch. John Bernthal.
Yeah.
Also, what's his name from Burton? It's Jeffrey Donovan.
That's your territory.
Yeah. Hey, he's a great guy. You ever watch Sicario? He wears the glasses.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know his ass. But that's a very good movie. More people should watch that. Also, Emery Cohen is in. But yeah, so that was Rebel Ridge. We liked it. It's Walking Tall 2. Very fun. Great at fight sequences. Like the scene where the McMap thing. We're like, what is this guy? A cartographer?
Yeah.
And then he explains, he's like, oh, this I did this, and this. And the line, like we had mentioned before, he's like, yeah, remember when I thought you could do this peaceful? Maybe we'll go back to that. And then I was like, nah, great drop. There's another really good one too, where he's talking to Don Johnson, where he's like explaining like the acronym thing, where he's like, yeah, now we're on E, and he pulls out the gun and he grabs it before he can pull it. He's like, nah, don't do that. And
that was great. I think one more of those kind of sequences, because I think there's only 2 real fight sequences in the whole movie, if you want to call them that. I think add in one more of those. I know it's not. I think I'll give the director a lot of credit. I respect the hell out of how reserved he was with it, because it makes it hit so much harder when you get it. But I think one more might have helped. Yeah,
I agree. All right, but yeah, that's Rebel Ridge. Next week, let's see, what do we got?
I think it's just Speak No Evil comes out this week.
That's the one Don't Sit with what's his name? Mackenzie Davis and
Eric.
Fuck. James McAvoy.
There you go.
And Scoot McNairy, who had mentioned before.
Mm-hmm. It looks pretty good. I've heard the one that it's based on is very good.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so sick of seeing this fucking trailer, to be honest.
That and Heretic I'm kind of interested in as well.
Yeah, that one does look good.
Let's see, we're at the 10th. Speak No Evil.
There's like 10 movies that come out the week after that.
My Old Ass, the one with Aubrey Plaza, that apparently is pretty good. Oh, The Killer's Game from our boy JJ Perry, who've interviewed before.
On September 20th, we get, so there's 2 weeks from now, we get Transformers 1, The Substance, His Three Daughters, Wolves, A Different Man, the Superman doc, and Whiplash re-release, all on one day.
Love all of that. I think for next week's purposes, it would probably be Speak No Evil.
Yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic for that, but we'll see. But yeah, so next week we'll do that. So make sure to watch Speak No Evil, watch some James McAvoy going psycho, and enjoy. But we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.